gentlemen, please, will you bring your attention to me? Hello, boys and girls. We're back, continuing on with the Unlimited Job Fiesta of Final Fantasy XIV. Today we are covering the Arcanist Summoner route, which ought to be fun. And probably tomorrow I will attempt to do all of the rest of them. So Scholar, Ninja Rogue, or Rogue Ninja, Marauder Warrior. So let's go ahead and get into this. So New Game Plus is active. We are here. Welcome to the Arcanist Guild. It is here that we research and develop the field of Arcanima. Arcanima is the science of employing arcane geometries, intricate patterns that map the unlocked mysteries of existence, to draw forth and manipulate the body's etheric energies. If you prefer an arcane art built on structured thought and precise reasoning, then your discerning intellect may find a home here at our guild. Might you consider enrolling yourself as an initiate? Aha, just as I predicted. Before we proceed any further, however, let us first feed your appetite for knowledge with a morsel of guild history. The roots of Arcanima can be traced back to the esoteric calculations practiced by the people of the South Sea Isles. It was these island folk that first discovered a method to express natural phenomena in mathematical terms. Building on this process, the existing mathematical formula were further developed into arcane geometries, precise patterns that allowed a practitioner to weave aether into specific magical effects. The mages who invoked this new form of magic became known as Arcanists, and the school of Arcanima was born. Many such mages, wishing to expand their understanding of the world, took to the seas aboard trading vessels. Upon their arrival in Limsa Lominsa, Arcanists found themselves welcomed into the academic elite and soon secured positions in the realms of governance and council. The knowledge of an Arcanist, however, is traditionally passed on from master to chosen disciple. As such, Admiral Warwib, counting several wielders of Arcanima among her personal staff, became concerned that this exclusionary practice would lead to the eventual extinction of the art. So at the Admiral's express orders, an official Arcanist Guild was established and funding was provided for research and training. The complex and demanding nature of Arcanima, however, remains the greatest threat to its own future. If you invite such cerebral challenges, then you have to reaffirm your commitment to joining our guild. Well, have you decided to enroll in our guild, or are you now intimidated by the thought of excessive thinking? Your sound judgment is to be commended. Now, standard practice dictates that I introduce you to our guildmaster that you might convey your intentions in person. Due to extraordinary circumstances, however, he is unreachable at present. Instead, you may speak with Mistress Stubergein. She has shouldered full responsibility for the guild's leadership in the interim. You will find her just over there by the bookshelves. You needn't be shy, though her mind is sharp and critical, her manner is always most welcoming. Yes, I am Stubergein. Greetings and welcome to the Arcanist Guild. As Marie has doubtlessly explained, I am serving as acting guildmaster until our wayward leader deigns to return. I assume our capable receptionist also spoke of our art's origins. Allow me then to expound upon its nature. Arcanima taps into the living energies of aether. The evidence of this is represented most aptly, perhaps by our own ability to manifest the arcane entity Carbuncle in the manner of magic which this ethereal ally employs at our command. The core of the discipline, however, is found in the pursuit of definitive solutions to any potential quandary. Even on the field of battle, nay, especially on the field of battle, this principle takes precedence. If one wishes to make certain the question of victory, then one must apply the most effective strategy. An Arcanist is measured by his ability to calmly analyze the situation from moment to moment and respond with the most appropriate spells at hand. The study of Arcanima will test your mental faculties to the point of perplexity. Are you prepared to reason your way through predicament after predicament? Yes. An unambiguous response, the kind I most prefer. Let us now see if the clarity of your words is matched by the sharpness of your mind. Here, take this grimoire in hand, and we shall next judge your aptitude for our discipline. Arcanist. Goodbye, Summoner Stone. It is a hefty tome, is it not? I promise you, a grimoire's weight becomes a comforting anchor amidst the shifting seas of battle, a fact you will soon discover. In Lower Lenosha, you will find, among others, 3 species of pest: wharf rats, little ladies, ladybugs, and orali. I ask that you employ your fledgling skill in the Arcanima to eradicate 3 of each type of creature. Leave the city through the Tempest Gate, and you will soon encounter the potential targets in abundance. As long as you remain focused, I do not foresee these opponents causing you or your budding abilities undue difficulty. Once you return from completing this preliminary trial, I will welcome you as an official member of the Arcanist Guild. May your judgment remain swift and clear. Yay! Let's go murder! Let's go murder with book in hand. We've committed a small amount of genocide. Although they're level 1, so they respawn very quickly. I see the creatures beyond the city walls pose you little threat. It is with great pleasure, then, that I formally recognize your initiation into the guild. From this day forth, you may proudly bear the title of Arcanist. I suggest you continue your forays into the wilderness and keep the pages of your grimoire turning. There is no finer teacher than the harsh mistress of experience. And when you feel your command carbuncle when you feel you can command carbuncle as easily as you might move your own limbs, return to me for further instruction. I will be waiting. Ah, Strife, isn't it? Are you eating well? An empty stomach distracts the mind and leads to hurried judgment. I must often remind my Arcanist to take meals, so stoned do they become in their studies. Speaking of such, have you been practicing your tactics with Carbuncle? I believe it is time to assess the improvement of your skills. As with your previous trial, I would have you defeat foes in Lower Lenosha, 3 wild dodos and 3 tiny mandragoras to be precise. Watch carefully the behavior of your opponents, formulate an effective strategy, and utilize your arcane entity to its fullest potential. I expect you back in time for dinner. Hey, look, it's Barbastella. Let's kill it. Is crazy ornery dragon dude here? No, he doesn't look like he's here. I'm just curious, just a little bit. There's one hunt here that always freaking is like, fuck you! He's probably closer down to lower. I mean, we can always go take a quick look. And worst case scenario, I just teleport back. I'm just curious where the fucker's at. Or if he's even out and about. Pretty much already skimmed over most of every place, so if he's not down here, he's probably not spawned. He's not out and about. Alright. Oh, itchy. Oh. And I'm definitely feeling much more sore than I was yesterday. Welcome back, Strife. It appears your coordination with Carbuncle is progressing at a satisfactory pace. Shall we test your growing acumen with a more practical examination? Our work at Malvin's Gate requires us to inspect and record the contents of incoming cargo. To simulate such a task, I have had several crates transported to the cliff of the Zephyr Gate. I want you to examine those crates and then return the inspected cargo here to me. You'd be surprised at the depths to which some merchants will sink to deter our customs agents from performing thorough investigations. False bottoms, rotting foodstuffs, fleshy bowkin. I suggest to be prepared for any eventuality. Oh boy. Oh joy. Oh bliss. So that would be Middle Lenosha. Practice grades. Excuse me. Huh? I am not a threat. Pray ignore my presence for the present and allow me a moment to conjugate. Cognitate. The reaction to my sudden appearance was within expected parameters, but I must admit I did not expect so proficient a performance against the enemy set against you. Yet, effective though your tactics were, I spied much room for improvement. As I watched you battle, the wheels of my mind whirled into motion, as they are wont to do, inventing other possible strategies you might have employed. Let's see, taking into account your current level of ability, factoring in the etheric constant, multiplying by the number of opponents, then applying your tactics to other potential combat scenarios. Oh dear, my calculations indicate failure upon encountering threat level 9,785. Well, we'll have to see what we can do about that. Though the opportune window to do so has passed, I would nevertheless introduce myself. I'm Clea, a Malvin's Gate assessor. Acting Guildmaster Superguy elected me to oversee your training and provide any necessary guidance and instruction in the field of Arcanima. Right. From what I observed thus far, you have an admirable grasp of the fundamentals. I do, however, wish to confirm one small detail. Regarding your choice of arcane geometries, what factor most influences your actions during battle? Aha, just as I predicted. And now I have the final element needed to perform another calculation. The probability of you becoming an Arcanist of note is 90%, give or take half a percent. Yes, the certainty is quite high. After all, I only know of one other practitioner who responded to my question in the same manner. It was the man who bestowed upon me this grimoire, the Guildmaster himself. While our inscrutable leader is, as I'm sure you've heard, on an indefinite leave of absence, he did leave us with his most notorious saying to date. Strategy is a tool used to manipulate one's situation into the desired reality. No matter how gifted you and I might be, however, the instantaneous manipulation of reality that might cause us to suddenly become mighty Arcanists is beyond our present abilities. Discipline and experience is the finest strategy in this case. I suggest you continue to focus on refining your aptitude with Carbuncle. Mastery with Arcane Entity will greatly improve your success as a wielder of Arcanima. Here ends your lesson for today. Pray return directly to the guild. I believe Mr. Stubergein is awaiting some inspected cargo. And what of myself? I'm off to the fields, of course. The tactics I reasoned out earlier must be attempted in real-life scenarios. Theory is all well and good, but there's no substitute for actual combat. We will meet again soon. Okay. And of course I appear all the way at the other end. Strife, have you returned with the cargo? Yes, everything seems to be in order, relatively clear of blood and other gore. That can be something of a problem in our profession. You understand, I also had word from Clea regarding your performance. She seemed eager to continue your training. An odd lass, I'll admit, but the guild can boast no finer mind for tactics. You would do well to heed the instructions she offers, particularly that which touches on the diligent approach to our art. Did you perhaps notice the battered tone Clea carries? That initiate's grimoire has served her from the day she entered the guild. She has had her reasons, but it's admittedly strange to see it kept all the way to her present position as Foreseer. I fear such an intense focus on Arcanima has led her to overlook other important aspects of life. As our master strategist guides your Arcanist training, I hope that you might return the favor and help to broaden her own perspective somewhat. But enough of such matters for the moment. You have done well this day, Strife. Continue your practice with Carbuncle, as Clea has bid. I will be here when the time comes for your next lesson. Yes, Strife, the time for your next lesson is upon us. You are keeping well, I trust. Taking the occasional brisk walk, one cannot form sound thoughts if one fails to maintain a sound body. Now, assuming you have been following Clea's instructions, you should be ready to face the more dangerous threats found in western Lenosha. The lost lambs? They're the most dangerous, vile threat. I speak of roselings and wild jackals. Ah, yes, I would have you vanquish 3 of each. 'Tis the perfect sample size. The first acts as a preliminary test case, the second to test your hypotheses, the third to perfect the tactics you've devised. Speaking of which, I trust your strategy will consist of more than simply flinging ruin over and over again. You are not the novice you once were, and your skills in the field ought to reflect that. If you find yourself warning for other approaches, consider an assault with ruin in tandem with attacks from your carbuncle. When timed appropriately, you can deal a crippling blow to your opponent. But Carby don't attack anymore. Carby just stand there. They changed Carby. He's just there for sex appeal. If that's your thing, I don't really know. Yep, to Swift Perch. If that's your thing, then that's your thing, but he's just there to bring the appeal. The appeal that I cannot.
Übergeheim. Welcome back, Strife. How did it feel to conquer such ferocious foes? Let us ride that wave of triumph onto an even more demanding and dangerous challenge. Your next training exercise will have you accompanying Forcia Clea on one of her inspections. This experience will afford you the opportunity to witness firsthand the practical application of Arcanima. Pray do not tarry, Strife. Clea awaits you on the floor below with further details. See, the sad part is I was kind of bored with Arcanist, and I barely remember the storyline. A timely appearance, as I expected. Shall we proceed directly to the job at hand? I've been tasked with examining the wares of a goblin peddler caravan run by the Bullstocks family. Our agents suspected these beastman merchants of dealing in forbidden goods. As such, I've calculated that announcing an inspection has a 60% chance of inviting physical violence. I have prepared a strategy to respond to this possible shift into hostilities. But there's an important precondition you should be made aware of before we discuss the finer points of my plan. Though I am considered gifted in the formation of tactics, I lack the reflexes and coordination necessary to employ many of those self-same strategies on the field of battle. Pray keep this factor in mind and adjust your perceptions accordingly. Now, should the goblins offer battle, you are to execute combat pattern 1345, otherwise known as stratagem focus fire. You and your carbuncle will concentrate your attacks on a single foe, and one by one the enemy will wither under the combined onslaught. Probability of victory 95%. Reports place the peddlers in the vicinity of the cookpot in the middle of Nosha. I will depart immediately to assess the situation. Seek me out once you arrive. That's a better day. An instance. Good. That is good. I am Forcia Clea of Maelden's Gate. You are to cease all transactions and surrender your goods for inspection. Nasty sneaky peekers, gobby spit up their nose eyes on stabby iron. A predictably aggressive response. Very well, Strife. Remember what we discussed. Wow. A double bot. Why does it sound like there are dogs barking? Nicely done. Adaptation, improvisation. I might have been observing our beloved guildmaster himself in action. This was the perfect example of how the strategy for a given task should be tailored to the abilities of the assessor. In other words, before you begin formulating your tactics, it is necessary to fully understand your own strengths and weaknesses. On that note, there is another question I would ask you. When it comes to improving the probable success of a strategy, do you consider it more effective to concentrate on playing to your strengths or shoring up your weaknesses? Oh, again you respond as the guildmaster once did. You must revise the probability for your potential to attain greatness to 97%. You are one to keep an eye on, that much is certain. But to return to the subject of battle plans, your calculations must include an accurate assessment of your available techniques and their relative effectiveness. This requires you to be critically aware of your own limits, the limits of your allies, and the characteristics of your enemies. I believe that covers everything for today. Please return to the guild and make your report to Mistress Stubergheim until next we meet. I shall abide here until the Yellow Jackets arrive to take the peddlers into custody. My strategies will keep me company. Do you have friends? Do you have somebody you can chat with, Clea? Back from the field, Strife? Clea contacted me with a summary of events. It seems you were treated to a lecture on knowing thyself. That particular lesson is ordinarily taught only to intermediate practitioners. Without a sufficient store of combat experience from which to draw, it is difficult to fully appreciate the profundity of such a seemingly simple truth. Nevertheless, I feel confident that you will soon be ready for a more ambitious assignment. Keep to your studies and maintain the razor edge of your mind. I'm ready. You seem tired, Strife. Are you sleeping properly? No, I'm not sleeping properly. What is this proper sleep that you speak of? I just drift off into death's embrace for about 5-6 hours at a time, and decide I've had enough cuddling and just wake up. There's a part of me that kind of regrets doing that because then I have to deal with people. Oops, sorry, tangent. One's reasoning can suffer without sufficient rest and recuperation. Should you deem yourself fit for duty, pray make your way down to the practice floor. Clea has requested you accompany her on another official inspection. There is, however, a requirement for your participation. The Foreseer will explain the situation. I was beginning to think I miscalculated, Strife. Thank you for coming. I will soon be boarding a trading vessel suspected of smuggling. All merchant ships that make use of Limsa Lominsa's ports are subject to inspection by Melvin's gate assessors. It is a routine I perform daily. In the case of smugglers, however, there's a 75% probability of encountering resistance. Thus, I would appreciate your company during this assignment. It is now that we must discuss the requirement of which you are informed. Though I have full confidence in your martial expertise, it is imperative that you first acquire the ability to summon Topaz Carbuncle. Such knowledge will be released to your contingent on your acceptance of this duty. Very good. The arcane entity given form by the Topaz geometry will further expand your offensive capabilities. With such an ally at your command, even the harshest of enemies will falter before you. Indeed, we could not conduct these dangerous spot inspections without its support. Please return to Mistress Stubergheim and inform her of your participation. I will join you once I have completed some final adjustments to my tactical formulae. You have agreed to accompany the Foreseer, then I shall gladly instruct you in the use of Topaz Carbuncle. Pray do not hesitate to employ this entity in combat should the inspection turn sour. Summon Topaz. The mercenaries, Geisfrain and Erslata, are here to assist with the inspection. Both are old hands when it comes to escorting Clea during her more dangerous activities. Well met, Strife. My spells are at your disposal. This won't be the first time we've been expecting trouble, but as long as we follow the Forceus tactics and keep a clear head, we'll come through just fine. The Morning Star is preparing to dock in Aleport. We will meet our first challenge, however, before we even board the vessel. It is almost a certainty that the merchant ship has hired a thug or two to accost us at the pier. I calculate the probability at 98%. The crew wish to avoid attacking us on deck, you see, as it would all but trumpet their criminal intentions to the world at large. Now, once we do manage to clear the rails, we will face a deck crowded with armed sailors. For a small party such as ours, the most effective strategy will be to incapacitate individual foes as swiftly as possible. Each opponent we down is one less weapon raised against us. It is imperative that we do not allow ourselves to become tangled in multiple drawn-out skirmishes, lest we be overwhelmed. I call this stratagem hammerfall. Strategy is the tool used to manipulate one's situation into the desired reality. Keep those words in mind, Strife. It is time we departed. Let us regroup before the main gates of Aleport. Away. Airport. A glitch in the Matrix has occurred. There was no sound for the teleports. Let us be about our task, right? Pray inform the steersman at the pier that we are ready to conduct our inspection. Should violence be offered, you are to execute stratagem hammerfall. Do not forget, your tactics are both your shield and your weapon. You're with the folks from Melvin's Gate. Hells, I knew there'd be trouble. Really? Must we? Well then, I'm certainly glad to see you can handle yourself. You'll find the landing boat just down here at the end of this ramp. I'll have no part of what comes next, though. Yes. Deftly handled, Strife. Once again, I am reminded of our guildmaster. Thanks to your efficient response, we will be able to commence this inspection earlier than I calculated. We shall board the merchant vessel out in the bay. Erslata, if you would take the rudder, the Morning Star awaits. I get to ride in the boat with you guys, right? Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Since their welcoming party at the pier failed to deter us, I expect, with a probability of 85%, that our arrival will incite further belligerence. Our objective, however, is not to trade blows, but to gain access to the hold. It may behoove us to employ stratagem hardhead. The aim of our opponents is to buy time so that the suspect goods may be tossed into the ocean. I do not intend to give them that time. We will bowl our way towards the cargo hold as quickly as we can. It is a tactic fraught with risk, but one that your presence makes possible. Shall we begin? I am Foreseer Clea. By the authority of Melvin's Gate, I request that you surrender your goods for assessment. Well, now your timing couldn't be worse, lass. The old door's all rusted up, you see. Bloody thing won't open. You have to come back another day after we fix the hinges. I will see that cargo now. Any vessel entering a port of Limsa Lominsa is bound by law to submit to a routine inspection. The law, is it? Lads, I reckon it's time our guests had themselves a little accident. Pitch 'em over the side. Angry. Bye-bye. A masterful display, Strife. Now we can finally gain access to their cargo. Oh! What have we here then? It's one of the bitch Admiral's lapdogs scampering about me ship. You're just like your mistress, always sticking your nose where it ain't invited.
No, it can't be.
Recognized me pretty face, did ye?
But you were caught, exiled.
Foreseer, are you hurt? Can you stand?
Stay back. You stay away from me.
Foreseer, please calm down. What are your orders? I've had enough of your whimpering, and I've certainly had enough of these bloody books. It's clear you ain't learning anything from them. Reckon this time you got a different kind of lesson.
Clea, Nafka preserve us. She's fainted. We must withdraw.
Strife, quickly, back to the boat. We'll carry the Foreseer. Aye, that's right. You slink on back to your mistress, you worthless curs. Reports to Thubag. I am at the Arcanist Guild. Do I have to? The Arcanist Guild. It's good to see you well, Strife. I guess Friend sent word ahead of your travels. An unfortunate turn of events, but considering the infamous Blackheart you faced, you might have fared much worse. Have you heard of the pirate Dosmaga? He was exiled from Limsa Lominsa some years ago, but it appears he has chosen to defy the Admiral's orders. And once more, he dares lay a hand on Foreseer Clea. The poor lass must have been terrified. If I had known Dosmaga was aboard that ship, I never would have signed her that duty. The assessor may require some time to recover. For Clea, that man is a nightmare made of flesh. Though her physical wounds will soon mend, there is little we can do to salve the hurt to her mind. You are concerned? Angry, mayhap? Harness that energy and channel it into your training. I predict we shall be needing your skills again before long. Greetings, Strife. In case such doubts fill your mind, you should know that I am ever willing to lend an ear if you find your thoughts troubled. At the very least, I would have you know this, because it seems that Clea does not. The Foreseer has been missing since this morning. There have been other times when she has disappeared without a word, but we have always been able to find her. Alas, that is not the case this day. With the Guildmaster here, he could deduce her whereabouts with nary a moment's concentration. I find myself beginning to wonder if those who devote themselves overmuch to Arcanima are more prone to bouts of wanderlust. But while I might wish to ponder further such oddities of character, we must needs organize a search party. Would you be so kind as to make inquiries in Hawker's Alley? It is not uncommon for Clea's wanderings to take a path through the markets. You know, back in the day, going through this wasn't as bad because there wasn't so many gosh darn people. You seek a Makote agent in Milton's Gate? Why, yes, I have seen her. Spoke with her, in fact. She was, however, apprehended by the Yellow Jackets. The assessor was drilling me for details about Kakiran's smuggling ring based on Aleport, but then the soldiers arrived and took her away. If you wish to know her fate, then I suggest you speak with Ginand at the core of the Coral Tower. Oh no, Clea. Forcia Clea? Yes, we brought her in for questioning regarding the reappearance of the pirate Dusmaga. Member of the Arcanist Guild, are you? Then I see no reason to conceal the nature of our discourse. Perhaps you are already aware of this, but the Foreseer was once held captive by that rabid sea dog. Few pirates sink to such depths of depravity as Dosmaga. It has been 6 years now since he was exiled from Limsa Lominsa for engaging in the worst kind of black market trading. And now the villain has returned. He is, however, both cunning and cautious and continues to evade our troops. Thus we hope to borrow the knowledge of Forcia Clea, whose experiences have given her an intimate familiarity with the way the scoundrel operates. At least that was our intent. After weathering a barrage of questions from the assessor, we found ourselves instead providing the details of our search. Should you wish to speak with Forcia Clea, I imagine she has already returned safely to your guild. I mean, I potentially could have just waited at the guild for her to reappear. I didn't have to come all the way down here. Back already? You were led to believe she had returned here? I am afraid not. So the Yellow Jackets told you something of her history with Dosmaga, did they? Perhaps it would be best if I told you the entire tale. Dosmaga's banishment was the result of a surprise inspection that revealed his involvement in an underground slave trade. The assessor that stepped aboard the pirate's merchant ship spoke of finding dozens of unwashed unfortunates crammed into that squalid hold. Among those prisoners was a young Mikote destined for some black market auction block. Though Clea was initially too terrified to even speak, the guildmaster brought her out of her fearful daze with the gift of an initiate's grimoire. Yes, the self-same tome that she has carried her entire career. Of course, did you not mention that Clea's grimoire was thrown into the sea? There are rumors that a Kikiran merchant of ill repute has retrieved the black market goods the crew of the Morning Star heaved into the ocean. Even now, he gloats over his salt-encrusted catch in Aleport. It is entirely possible that the Foreseer's most prized possession was caught up in the Kikiran salvage net. I have no doubt that Clea has reached the same conclusion. To Aleport with you, Strife. That is where you will find our wayward assessor. Yes. Combat pattern 256 should serve to cover all expected contingencies. You never know when you'll have to nullify a thaumaturgic queue. My retrieval strategy is complete. Strife, it is good for you to come. I was unable to calculate for certain if you would piece together my movements in time. Very little is certain when so many variables are involved. But there's good news. This prisoner here was kind enough to confirm that the trader who salvaged the Morning Star's jettison cargo did indeed retrieve a tome matching the description of my lost grimoire. Momentum law and the policies in Melvin's Gate would support the confiscation of goods connected to an official inspection, but alas, my personal belongings do not fall under that definition. Thus, I intend to launch an unofficial offensive against this black marketeer and his cronies. The peddler has already departed for Candlekeep Quay. It is time I gathered to meet such allies as I possess, and I count you as one of them, Strife. Despite the nature of this endeavor, Mr. Stubergeim has offered me her cooperation. If you would, pray join her and Oshron's embrace. That is where we shall ambush this disreputable Kikiran. To lower Lenosha. Greetings, Strife. Your arrival completes our small company. You are equipped for battle, I trust. We need not wait Cleo's arrival. Once the Kikirin appears on the bridge, we spring our ambush. The strategy for trapping our target relies on the two allies we have concealed on the other side of the ravine. This pincer maneuver was naturally the Forceer's idea. As for the target himself, the Kikirin is known as careful and cautious fellow. He travels with a small retinue so as to avoid attracting attention, but do not be fooled. More bodyguards follow at a distance and will likely join the fray after hostilities ensue. Do not, however, expect any assistance from the Yellow Jackets. They cannot be seen aiding us in what amounts to a personal matter. But they are willing to turn a blind eye for Cleo's sake. In any case, the Forceer's tactics account for our limited numbers and individual strength. Victory is all but assured. Now, let us take up our positions and wait for the Kikirin to arrive. Another instance. Now to find the Forceer's grimoire. Well executed, everyone. Were you able to retrieve my grimoire? Shall I pray hand over the tome? It's not in the best of shapes, though. It's ruined. My wonderful grimoire is ruined. The probability of repairing this degree of damage is 0%. Even the most brilliant strategy cannot undo such ravages of seawater. I've never felt so defeated, I believe it is time I returned home. Leave her be. But how can I? He is right, Erstota. You must allow Clea time to process the loss. And you have other matters to which you must attend. Come, Strife, it is time we return to the guild as well. We're getting a little closer. Not quite the victory we imagined, was it? The moment Clea beheld her soaked and tattered grimoire, you could see the light of hope die in her eyes. There is, however, something we can do. I will call upon your aid soon, but in the meantime, you would be well served to deepen your knowledge of Arcanima. Have you come to ask about Clea's condition? The forest here is unchanged. She walks about as if all the joy in life has been leached from her soul. I believe the only one who can help her now is the same person who broke Clea out of her shell the first time, our absent guildmaster. And though I am leery of the coincidence, the man himself has it well been spotted. Should you seek out his last known location, it is unlikely he will still be there, and even should you catch him, he may not deign to speak with you. Nevertheless, this may be our only chance. Pray travel to Memorune's trading post in Upper Lenosha and speak with anyone who might have seen the guildmaster. Oh, and one more thing. Though he prefers us not to use it for some inexplicable reason, our leader's name is Any relation to Grahatia? Ha 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 ha. Probably not. Evening, sir. I was the one who sent word to your guild about spotting your leader. It's a right rare sight to see Critia roaming around about. He asked me to weigh the Talos. Could he be seeking to speak with a scholar who lives out there? Hello there. Why, yes, I did receive a visit from a gentleman identifying himself as the Arcanist Guild Master. An odd fellow, but obviously possessed of a well-rounded education. As it so happens, he bid me pass on a message to anyone who came searching for him. Reunited, the 3 slips of parchment hold the problem to the solution. The Guildmaster mentioned that the slips of parchment are concealed among the bones of Talos. I suppose you are expected to search for them. Wonderful! I found one! I found 2! Bum, bum. Have you tracked down those 3 slips of parchment? Interesting. They actually exist. To be perfectly honest, I thought you had been sent on a wild dodo chase. Let's have a look at these, shall we? Oh wow, pendant ancient Alec, no less. Fortunately for you, I have a passing familiarity with the script. Seek the box at Fool's Falls. Dance a jig for your wooden audience. Claim the secret from the opened heart. Most cryptic set of instructions, I must say. Do you intend to follow them? This guildmaster of yours certainly enjoys his games. Bum 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 bottom 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 ba-da-da-da-da-da-dum ba-da-da-da-da-da-dum. I suppose I must dance. The box rattles and thumps about as if something within seeks to be freed, but appears the lid has been loosened somewhat. You find a slip of parchment inside the box. If there are answers you would seek, then to the trading post now go. Before the owner, be not meek, with your 2 feet provide a show. Ah, now that was most entertaining. I must have something to amuse me during these little jaunts back to civilization, you understand. Based on my evaluation of your abilities, however, I calculated that you would arrive at this point somewhat earlier. You balked at the dancing, didn't you? I never expected you to be so shy. Another variable to add to your list of characteristics. I keep extensive mental notes on all the guild's members, you see. As an Arcanist, it was a simple matter to engineer events that I might meet you face to face. After all, strategy is a tool used to manipulate one's situation into the desired reality. And I do so enjoy seeing others dance in the palm of my hand, as it were. Here, you may have this. Think of it as payment for your performance. Though you might consider passing the tome on to Kalia, that is the reason you sought me out, was it not? Before you give Kalia the grimoire, however, I must insist that you dance with her. I will know if you don't. All this banal interaction has simply exhausted me. It is time I return to my studies. You, on the other hand, should travel forthwith to the anchor yard in Limsa Lominsa. Be well, Strife. We shall meet again. I'm 100% certain of it. And he was never seen again. Back to Limsa. Half Castle's gonna be the closest I get. And we're running! La-di-dee-dee-da-dee-da, la-di-dee-dee-da-dee-da. Were you always one for dancing? I don't recall any such preference. Ah, you must have met with our guildmaster, haven't you? That would explain your odd behavior. He does so enjoy seeing people perform unexpected acts of frivolity. What could have spurred our reticent guildmaster to speak with you in person? He gave you this grimoire to give to me? Uncanny. It is identical to the tome I received the first time I ever met our leader. You have my thanks, Strife. The guildmaster is fond of games and mischief, and I understand the troublesome trials he likely put you through before deeming you worthy of his attention. With this gift, however, his message to me is abundantly clear. I am to shape reality into the one I desire. And that means defeating Dosmaga. Gods, my mind is alive again with strategies. I must have time to think. Pray inform Mr. Stubergheim of my return to duty. Good to have you back, little lady. And we're running, running, and 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 running, running. Yeah, we're pretty much sitting on par. Hama. Back to the Arcanist Guild I go. Superguy letting her every know. Clea has recovered from her despondency. This is wonderful news, and we have you to thank for it. It is unfortunate, however, that both Clea and our guildmaster are possessed of such impenetrable personalities. But at least in the case of the Foreseer, we have an inkling as to the nature of the cage that imprisons her. I continue to hope that our partnership with you shall gradually pry loose those bars apart. Return to your training, Strife, and prepare yourself for the demanding tactic Clea is sure to formulate in the days ahead. I've been expecting you, Strife. As ever, Clea's predictions prove accurate almost down to the moment. And her mind is especially sharp with such dangerous confrontation in the offing. The Yellow Jackets have contacted us with the word of Dosmaga. It appears his merchant vessel is presently anchored off the coast of Bloodshore. Once the pirate's business there is concluded, rumor has it that he intends to embark on an extended voyage to the east. It will be some time before he returns once more to Limsa Lominsa. If we pass up this opportunity, Clea will lose her chance to settle the score with Dosmaga, and we risk the Foreseer stumbling once more into the blackest melancholy. Simply getting close enough to Dosmaga will prove difficult. Clea has, however, already formulated a solution and has set her grand strategy into motion. Your first task in this undertaking is to travel to Costa del Sol and deliver this set of directions to a fisherman by the name of Rizarin, or Rylzrin. Rylzrin? More instructions will be forthcoming. We're going to the beach. We're gonna have some cake by the ocean. What is it you want, lad? As you can see, I've my hands full with me fishing. Thanks for that. I've been told to expect you. You're to take one of me earrings and deliver to the cook, Oplona. Yes, and how might I help you? Master Garaju is expecting his supper at any moment now. A fresh herring? Why, the master does enjoy a bite of broiled fish on an evening. This might even earn a few extra coins for this week's wages. Well, you have earned yourself one of my homemade eel pies. I should tell you, though, your Arcanist colleague was quite insistent that you take the pie to Master Garaju, rather than scoff it down yourself. Why am I being made to do all this? And what brings you to mine? I use the term facetiously. Humble abode, dear sir. Such a heavenly aroma. Are you perchance carrying any pie about your person? How commendable that you should research the delicacies that tickle my fancy before daring to intrude upon my most ponderous of ponderings. Speaking of ponderous, well, I was speaking of it at least. I have a hefty purse of gil to persuade you to relinquish your claim on that pastry. One moment, if you will. I've been instructed by a Melvin's Gate assessor to hand over this message to whoever delivers an eel pie to Master Gagaruju. Take the purse you received from Master Gagaruju and hand it to the dancer Elgath as she prepares to return home. Clear. Yes, if you're looking for a dancer, then I would first see your coin. I have 3 children to feed and no time to waste on idle chat. Oh my, that is quite a purse. My precious darlings will eat like kings this week. And such a simple job as well. I was told to expect you, you see. In return for the coin, I am to give you these. The leather satchels from your Makote friend and the perios from me. That last item you are to deliver to Drogo, the warehouse foreman. What is the point? I ain't got time for the likes of you. If I don't get me work squared away soon, the master will have me head on a pipe. You got something for me, you say? Hey now, ain't this El Sparrow? That Makote lass said someone would be bringing me a gift, what I couldn't refuse. Stick me with a pitchfork if she weren't telling the God's own truth. Here, you're supposed to have this bottle of wine. Take it to the Fin Shark and pour a cup for the sailors what are drinking there. That's what she told me to tell you, Annie Road. So watch me back if I was you, though, son. Them sailors are the meanest bunch of cutthroats I've ever seen. Clear? You want me to taste your wine, eh? Well, now, I ain't one to pass up free grog. Means teats. Now that's a bloody fine drop. If we ship this stuff to the east, we'll be selling bottles by the crate. You're coming with us back to the Morning Star. The captain will want to have a word with you. There's a good lad, and as for ye, Miss Dancer, ye stick close to old Herskrat. Gets damn cold on them long sea voyages. Huh? Shh, we'll talk later. What? You ready then? We'll be off as soon as the boat's loaded. I guess we are, although I'm confused as to what this all meant. And fine grog and a fine woman. The captain will be pleased with this all. Pray do not stare so. This was the most expedient method of gaining access to the ship. I will take that satchel from you now. You may have it back after I take the items I need. What mischief are you two about? I was merely borrowing some clothes. You wouldn't wish me to catch a chill from this brisk ocean air, would you? You'll be dancing yourself warm once we get you back on the ship, lass. You better slip off that ratty robe before you meet the captain. Of course, of course. I'll be happy to show him the performance that awaits. That bitch Admiral's lapdog. Come back for that lesson, have you? It is I who shall be teaching this day. My lecture will focus on the manipulation of reality through applied strategy. Enough of this damn yapping. By the time I'm done with you, you'll remember who you're real. Oh, you guys just came out of nowhere, didn't you? Yeah, you need to go bye-bye. You rabid little cur. Our numbers matter not. It is strategy that will win this battle. Prepare yourself, Dosmaga. With your defeat, will I cast off the shackles you closed on my soul. You think so, eh? Think your fancy magics are a match for my blade? You got another thing coming. Bye. Dosmaga now faces defeat. He will flee to the starboard rail. Obvious. Next comes his attempt to escape into the sea. You think you're pulling me strings, do you? Then I'll dance to your tune? Well, I ain't falling for your bloody tricks. It is at this moment he notices the yellow jackets I had you summon in my explicit instructions to Rizarin. You were a fool to return, Dosmaga. I hear you're fond of shackles, so we brought a set especially for you. Thus concludes today's lecture. Thank you, Strife. This strategy would not have succeeded without your flawless execution. I suggest that my tactics yet require more work. One must allow for some small deviation in performance. I believe, however, that I now understand where my calculations went awry. It is not enough to wish to shape reality. One must also have a complete understanding of the reality one wishes to obtain. It is time I sought out our guildmaster. Pray convey to Mistress Thubergeim my fondest wishes, and my appreciation for all that she has done for me. The true test of my strategies now begins. back to Limsa. Welcome back, Strife. There's much I would ask you, but first, may I have the satchel you received during your assignment? May I have it? The original owner needs her costume back, you see. I'll make sure everything is returned safe and sound. Now, let us speak of Clea. I am glad to know that she has finally freed herself to pursue her heart's desire, and you are to thank for awakening the Foreseer to her self-imposed fetters. The brilliance of Clea's strategy served to blind her to her own feelings, and it pained me to see her suffer so. Your example may even encourage Clea to improve her combat abilities, although such will surely come in time. After all, she intends to study under the Guildmaster's direct instruction. Imagine those two obsessive Arcanists and the complexity of the tactics they will develop. It may very well be that your actions in bringing them together will prove the catalyst that sparks a new era of invention in the art of Arcanima. You too should look to the improvement of your discipline if you are to keep pace with all that is certain to follow. To that end, I offer you a new technique, one I pray allows you to more readily drive back your foes on the battlefield. Ruin 2. And... Aha. Okay. Alright, and now... this will let us begin the next part, which is Les Summoner. Which we will come back to in just a moment. Alright, we're back. Ready to knock off the last part, Le Summoner. This is the weird one because I couldn't. Technically, I could have included this in Gridania, since most of this is going to take place in Gridania. However, the base of it starts in Limsa, so. Greetings, Strife. It is well you have come, for we have an intriguing matter to discuss. A request has come to our guild from the Sons of St. Connor, an organization of some of the finest minds in Eorzea, and they have asked for you by name. It appears that the research the Sons are currently conducting would benefit from the assistance of an Arcanist, specifically one who has had the tempering experience of defeating the primal Ifrit. Though I must admit to some curiosity as to how these scholars knew the extent of your heroic exploits, I suppose the source of their knowledge is of little relevance. If you would answer this request, then you will find your contact, a researcher by the name of Yehithra, at Apkula Falls in the nation of Gridania. To Gridania! Closest one might be Makoto's Amphitheater. Hello there. Ah, General Bechobe. You are Staff Eclipse, I assume? Well met, and thank you for coming. My name, as you have obviously surmised, is Yumitra. I am a member of the Sons of St. Koinok. Ours is a Charlian order that seeks the lost knowledge of the Allegan Empire. And in that regard, we have recently made a singularly important discovery at our dig site in Mordona. We salvaged from the ruins a set of ancient texts describing the existence of a sect of Allegan mages known as summoners. These were arcane practitioners said to have the ability to siphon the essences of the primals and manifest the stolen energy as a biddable ally known as an Egu. Should we succeed in resurrecting such arts, then we might well hold in our hands the power to bring this age of conflict to an end. There is, however, as there always must be, one monumental obstacle to realizing this reality. In order to manifest these obedient incarnations of the Beastman's savage deities, one must first defeat a primal and capture its etheric essence. Thus, only one who can boast such a daunting achievement under his belt may even begin on the path of becoming a summoner. You understand now why I called upon you? If you wish to contribute to my research, then come to me in the west of Byragat's Strife in southern Thanalan. There shall we conduct a ritual of the summoning, the austerities of flame. How are you, Zell? Lizelle. I'm alright. Been awake since like 9 a.m. with 5 hours of sleep, but managed to just spend the day gaming to be honest. Oh, that's good. Greetings to you once more, Strife. I had a feeling this unique opportunity would be nigh impossible for you to ignore. Let us proceed directly to the ritual, shall we? According to the records we recovered, the summoners of old would perform these rites in a land in which a naturally dominant element matched the avatar they wish to call forth. Only in such a place might one sufficiently shift one's preferred balance in the desired direction. The element of fire is especially strong here in the Sangoli Desert. I can think of no land more fitting in which to summon any incarnation of the Lord of the Inferno. Before we begin, I must insist that you accept this gem. It may appear of little worth, but within its faceted depths dwell the memories of long-distance comrades. Now, you must focus. Visualize the ether flowing through you, a vibrant current of energy transforming the world of atoms. Hold this image in your mind, and the raging heat of your life force shall spawn it in you bathed in flames. Be aware, however, that this nascent entity will appear before you unbound and hostile. It is your charge to overpower the avatar and establish yourself as its master. The path of the summoner is not, if not fraught with peril. Most impressive, Strife. The Fireborn Eggie has submitted to your will. You have mastered the austerities of flame, and that is no small feat. Pray let us return to Apcola Falls, that we might further discuss your achievements. This is truly a momentous occasion. You have rescued the lost art of summoning from the grassy mire of forgotten history. But you must know more of the avatar you have bound. In the ancient time of the Alec Empire, it would be known as Hither Eggie, where Eggie translates approximately to pure, or the essence of. In short, you obtained a willful manifestation of Ifrit raging fires. As you might expect from an entity born of the Lord of the Inferno, this avatar and its capacity for destruction should serve you well in your battles to come. With such an ally at your command, it is not too soon to take upon yourself the title of Summoner. You have proven yourself more than worthy of the soul crystal you now possess.
Yet be that as it may, the road before you is long and arduous. If you would triumph in this evil conflict, you must need to master more than just the eggs of fire. I suggest you next fix your gaze upon claiming the citadel of the ruler's camp. You once seized victory against the primal titan, did you not? I admit I am eager to progress directly to the austerities of Earth, but we must be careful to not overtax your reserves of strength. Rest well and spend some time to grow accustomed to your infallibility. Once you feel prepared to continue with our historic research, you will find me here awaiting your arrival with care and constrained impatience. Titan's essence infuses your aura, Strife. I foresee no further obstacles preventing us from attempting the next ritual. Shall we proceed with your austerities of Earth? I have every confidence that you will succeed in binding Titan Egg to your will. According to my research, the most suitable location for the ritual is a place found to the southwest of Alder Springs in the North Star. A heretofore buried layer of ancient rock exposed by the violent upheavals of the Calamity has lent to stir on the area an overwhelming earthen aspect. The conditions will be perfect. I will await you at our destination, Strife. And yet you're still standing here, and you will somehow still beat me there. I need access to whatever fast travel you have. The ritual you are about to perform is essentially no different from the austerities of flame. Instead of fire, however, you will be concentrating on shifting your etheric balance towards the spectrum of Earth. Once you have achieved the required state of Earthen affinity, the primal's captured essence will tumble forth and coalesce into the stony form of Titan Eggy. As before, you must demonstrate unflinching authority, if you would convince the newborn avatar to heed your commands. Let us begin. What ally?
Oh, well done, Strife. I come in search of elegant relics, and what do I find but a pair of incompetent dabblers?
Why would just a fate did you chance across such undeserved power? And who might you be, sir, to so boldly question our accomplishments? If you have indeed unlocked the secrets of summoning, then you must be in possession of the very treasure I seek. How terribly convenient. I need only slay you both and take what I need from your bloody corpses. Gods below, a summoner? But how? Cease your infantile prattle. The continuation of my divine work far outweighs the worth of your pitiful lives. Why do you struggle so? Your unwillingness to accept oblivion but delays the inevitable. Heed me, avatar of infernal flame, incinerate these fools in all-consuming hellfire. What? Feel nature's fury, you vile blackguard. I tire of this childish game. Thank your gods for granting you another day of miserable existence. He's gone. What a decidedly unpleasant fellow. Well, I suggest we return to Upcolor Falls. I have no desire to linger here and chance another encounter with whomever that deranged mage was. I still need to finish capping out my tomes for the week. I'm only at 317 out of 450. I must say, I did not expect to meet another practitioner of the summoning arts. And I also did not expect to be so suddenly fighting for my life. What precious treasure do we carry that this callous stranger was so willing to kill us to possess? Such mysteries aside, I am most glad you were able to secure the Titan Eggie before the summoner decided to unleash his fiery avatar. Without his protection, I doubt we would have survived that conflagration. The Eggie of Earth, as was so aptly demonstrated, is not a force to be trifled with. You should certainly take the time to explore its capabilities as well as its limitations.
Be careful, however, not to neglect other magics at your disposal. Meanwhile, I shall confer with my colleagues in the Sons of St. Coinoth, and see what I might learn of that hostile summoner. We shall meet anon. How fared you with your training, Strife? For my part, I had some success in uncovering the identity of our mystery attacker. We knew that our assailant was capable of summoning Ifrit Eggy, so I perused the records of past expeditions for those who claimed to have triumphed over the Lord of Inferno. Of these victorious primal hunters, there were 8 names listed as present whereabouts unknown. After eliminating unlikely candidates based on race and gender, I was left with but a single name, Tristan. Assuming the records are accurate, this hero was once registered as a soldier in the Immortal Flame. As to how the man came by his skills as a summoner, or why he sought to kill us, however, I remain woefully ignorant. Nevertheless, I have witnessed him use the art of summoning for casual brutality, and that I cannot countenance. This power should never be employed for the sake of tyranny or personal gain. It was meant to oppose such evils. It is our responsibility to bring this Tristan to justice. Should we stand idle, his reprehensible actions could very well stain the good name of future summoners who have yet to answer their calling. The art itself could be outlawed, the very mention of it taboo. Now, through my inquiries, I was able to determine that a war comrade from Tristan's days to the military resides in Little Alamigo. I ask that you pay a visit to this former soldier and learn what he knows of our callous villain. So I get to go to Noctis' home, okay. Again, another person that I'm curious whether or not Noctis would be familiar with. Being Alamigan and some sort. Or this being temporary home considering the current state of affairs. Well, seems like Tristan wasn't telling all tales after all. Said I could expect some primal addled sod to show up and start asking questions. Why don't you stay here and play with some friends of mine? I have a message to deliver. He's all yours, ladies. Kettles and patata. That was probably one of the shorter quests in the line, which personally I don't necessarily mind. It's getting just late enough. There's part of me that wants to end this, start back up, and do a stream for Scholars since it's just the 30 line and up. I don't know, we'll see. You were set upon. The fiend is one step ahead of us. Anyway, your 10 years of dig site findings that Tristan warned his old allies long before you set foot in that settlement. They thought you one of the tempered, a mortal enthralled to a primal's will. In addition to being ruthless, it appears that our opponent is highly intelligent, and not quite as deranged as I first assumed. Such a level of planning hints at the existence of some greater scheme. But that is still all we know. For the moment, we must be content with the knowledge that he perceives us as a threat and is aware of our efforts to track him. Speaking of which, you did exceedingly well to survive the trap into which I blitheredly sent you. I must apologize for my carelessness. I will not underestimate this man again. On a happier note, however, my efforts to decipher the elegant text proceed apace. Here, you must read this. With your skills already tried and tested against the Agi, you should have little difficulty in mastering a secondary summoning technique such as this. Let us put this day's disaster behind us and focus on the wonders that lie ahead. Player. Greetings, Strife. So it is good to see you. I'm afraid I have yet to ascertain Tristan's ultimate objective. I only know that he is cunning and brutal and will stop at nothing to achieve his purpose. As matters stand, we but chase after this man's shadow. Such a straightforward pursuit will, I believe, leave us ever one step behind. Our sole advantage is the treasure we possess that Tristan appears to covet. Eventually, his desire will bring him to us. Where and when Tristan will strike I cannot say, but it is unlikely to be on a field of our choosing. Thus, I suggest we prepare for this inevitable conflict as best we may. As fortune would have it, the ruins of Mordona may have provided us with a new source of strength. Word among the Suns is that a set of evoker's attire has been unearthed. Made during the reign of the Allegan Empire, these enchanted garments were sewn for the exclusive use of summoners. I can only imagine the degree to which they will enhance your already impressive powers. The man supervising the excavation efforts at St. Cornarch's Find, Rambros, is a dear friend of mine. In light of our circumstances, I am certain that he will consent to a request that you be allowed to don the attire. Shall we pay him a visit? 2 more donuts! Bum 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 bum. Mitra, I suspected you would make an appearance before long. I presume this fine gentleman is the new summoner I've heard so much about. Yes, hopefully the first of many. Now, pray tell me, Rambros, has the discovery of Allegan-made Invoker's attire been confirmed? It has, truly a historical find. Then I would ask a boon of you, my friend. Do you recall the predicament of which I spoke? Our chances of survival would be greatly improved if you would consider allowing Strife to wear the Allegan garments. Well, he is a summoner after all, and I must confess to no small degree of scholarly curiosity as to the effect the attire will have on one with the appropriate training. These finds are, however, the result of much sweat and even a few tears on the part of our excavation team. It is a frustrating task at times, and I fear they will be loath to part with the garments without some measure of recompense for their efforts. Allow me, though, to offer a solution. Metallic monstrosities of Allegan construct known as Mirranites have risen from the dig sites scattered across Mordona. Needless to say, they pose a dangerous threat to our excavators. I suggest you speak with my 3 field researchers and dispose of any such nasty hindrances to their work. I dare say they will then gladly surrender the pieces of the attire they hold. Once I have confirmed our dig sites suitably empty of armored horrors, I will see you are rewarded with the garment that I myself recovered from the ruins. A Mirrorite lurks just over yonder. I can scarce think straight with that thing wandering about. Oh gods, it approaches. It's okay, he gone now. Phew, you have my thanks. Now I might finally be able to concentrate on my tasks. If I'm not mistaken, you were in search of the Invoker's attire? I have one of its wondrous pieces right here. You are most welcome to it. La Ponce! Praise the gods, Rambros said an adventure would be a little long. Please, you must destroy that horrid construction. Bye-bye, bitch. Thank you for eliminating the source of my recent nightmares. I do not ordinarily stutter, so, you see... But abject terror has that effect on folk. Now I hear from Eureka that you have the need of this elegant garment. I should be glad to see it put to practical use rather than shut away in some dusty vault. The gloves. Mirror Knights? Yes, they become quite bothersome. I would be most appreciative were you to eliminate the creaking pest that has been plaguing me of late. Alright. He no longer exists. Fascinating. I never thought I'd be fortunate enough to observe a conflict against an elegant construct at such close quarters. This has been a deeply enriching experience. If the price is to be my piece of the evoker's attire, then so be it. Gonna be boots. Yep, les boots. The champion of my researchers returns. With the ruins now free of mirror knights, the excavations can proceed at a far more satisfying pace. Trembling in fear for one's life makes it astonishingly difficult to handle ancient artifacts that have a tendency to crumble into dust. You have performed a valuable duty for us, Strife. As promised, you shall have the summoner's garment uncovered by my own hands as your reward. Ah yes, Lisa mentioned she would await you at Africa Falls. It seems there is no doubt in her mind that you would succeed here. Le horny headpiece. So, this is how the summoners of old were clad, more or less. It is unfortunate that the ruins have yet to surrender the final piece to the Suns. These garments, aside from the coloring, they are identical to the garb Kristen wore. You will find no edge against you through his equipment. When next you face that murderous cad, victory will be decided purely on who is the more talented summoner. To that end, it is time you drew on your experience of defeating the primal Garuda. Yes, her aura of fickle violence is palpable upon you. It is daunting to imagine an Iggy born of the Lady of the Vortex. Such unpredictable ferocity will serve you well. I will search for a suitably airy location in which to perform the austerities of wind. You, my dear summoner, must needs prepare yourself, body and mind, for the trials ahead. I shall be waiting. I sense Garuda's restless essence railing within the confines of your etheric channel. The time we granted it release with the austerities of wind. Thankfully, I already have in mind a location that well suits our elemental purposes. You are familiar with the floating city of Nim in Outer Lenosha. As you might imagine, the aspect of wind is entirely dominant in the area of those suspended isles. Pray make your way there as soon as you feel prepared. I am quite excited to see the sweet Iggy. There's Outer Lenosha? Yeah, Outer Lenosha, not Upper. I know she just said it, but my mind is just gone. Shall we begin? I assume that this is your third such experience. You have by now grown familiar with the steps of the ritual. Thus, as before, I would have you concentrate on shifting your etheric balance. Imagine the energy within you howling through your veins, an incessant gale of screeching wrath. Garuda's essence will be only too eager to harness those raging currents and shape them into a worldly avatar. Once Garuda Egi has appeared, it falls to you to tame its fury. Come hither, birdie. The partner, Aggie. A little bit rougher compared to the other two, but she was the more vicious between the three, so it kind of makes sense. Masterfully done, Strife. Garuda Aegis powers is now yours to wield. Your aptitude for the art of summoning has exceeded my highest expectations. I honestly could not have found a more valuable partner for my research. Let us return to Apicala Falls. I'm sure you must be exhausted after this ordeal. I don't know, we'll see. Like, in theory, Scholar should take maybe an hour. And since there's not going to be any anime night tomorrow... The addition of Garuda Egi, you now command 3 powerful avatars. As you have no doubt realized, however, each of these entities has a particular role in which it excels. For Garuda Egi, the role is unleashed magic to strike down distant foes. I must admit to feeling equal parts joy and apprehension at how faithfully the southern being displays the original primal's volatile disposition. Experiment with your AV allies. The most effective use of their individual abilities will soon become clear. With such mastery of the art at your disposal, I shall almost pity Tristan when next he chooses to confront you. Before that time comes, however, I will endeavor to pierce the mystery of his motivations. May your discoveries bring you new confidence, Strife. Strife, there's been a terrible incident. My poor colleagues at St. Cornar's Fine murdered. The reports are confused, but they all mention the same black-robed attacker. You know as well as I do that Tristan is behind this massacre. He has indeed grown bold, or desperate, to commit such a brazen act. We should set out to Mordona at once and speak with any survivors. It may be that we can glean some idea of what the cold-hearted monster was after, or where he might strike next. We must stop him, Strife. 2 more donuts. Bum, 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 bum. Two more donuts. I would like some donuts. I would really like some donuts. Please give me your donuts. Make them chocolate. Simple bitch donut. I don't care. Just give me your donut. Yes, I am absolutely certain it was the same dark summoner whom Yumito described to us. We were celebrating a recent find, the soul crystal of an Allegan summoner, when a man in black robes suddenly appeared and demanded we surrender the gem. Naturally, we objected to this arrogant imposition, but he simply sneered at our refusal. The next moment, the world exploded into flames. Through a haze of agony, I saw him snatch up the soul crystal from a smoldering body and stride off towards the singing shards. That bastard slaughtered my friends. There was no warning, no negotiation. If the gods grant you the chance to exact revenge, then I pray you show him the same mercy he afforded us. Another soul crystal. Yes, it makes sense that he would shift his attention to a more easily obtainable gem. After all your progress, you would now make for a most formidable opponent. I must apologize for not sharing my theory earlier. I suspected that Tristan might desire the soul crystal you carry, but did not wish to draw any premature conclusions without sufficient evidence. I'm at a loss, however, to explain why he seeks to collect more of these Allegan relics. We shall just have to ask the villain himself after we corner him in the singing shards. Let us be on our way. This is the first time I think an Asian has been involved with the job system. I have brought you the soul crystals as promised. Yes, these appear to be authentic Allegan artifacts. Very well, I shall honor our bargain. From within these gems I will draw forth the memories of the ancient summoners, and the slumbering essence of an elder primal. All the attendant knowledge and power shall be yours. Ah! Oh, God's the pain. The bumbling summoner and his incompetent lackey make an appearance at last. You think to capture me? Fools, I have orchestrated your every move. You have grown much in the art, it is true, but through the wisdom of the Paragons, I now command the power of an elder primal. You made a deal with the Paragons, and you call us fools. The Ascians will never relinquish their hold on you. A small price to pay. If you could but feel the strength that fills my entire being, it is indescribable. I will use this power to annihilate the beast tribes and put an end to their insufferable rituals once and for all. The primals will rise no more. Hear me, demon king of devouring flame. Feed on my ever-burning anguish and be reborn. The culmination of my sacred duty is at hand. But first, there is one more soul crystal that must be mine. I will tolerate its wasted potential no longer. Ow. Bye-bye. By all the memories of Summoner's past, I should have been unstoppable. I will sear the disease of beastmen from the face of the land. Deprived of worshippers, the primal that tempered my weak, sweet-willed sibling will wither into oblivion. So, I see my orders records were accurate. Though it was buried deep in the archives, I but recently uncovered a report that described how you slew your own brother. He was corrupted during your ill-fated encounter with Ifrit, was he not? I imagine your superiors in the Immortal Flame sought out a mercy to conceal that inglorious detail. Once the soft-headed fool had been tempered, there was no saving him. And thus I took it upon myself to expunge the stain of embarrassment. But my work is left undone. The primal, no, all primals must suffer for that insult. After I killed my brother, I found myself liberated, my vision clear. No deed was too vile if it promised to add to the power I required. How can you not see? I am the sword of vengeance, and I shall wrest that soul crystal from your blasted corpse. He nuked himself, I think? Maybe unintentionally? I wonder which struck the first blow to his sanity, the despair at his brother's tempering or the guilt from slaying his own kin. It is ironic to think that, discounting the means, our purposes were fundamentally one and the same. Summoner employs the savagery of the primals to conquer the primals themselves. Had Tristan approached us as an ally, we might have found ourselves aiding his cause, unless he chose to walk the path of bloodshed. Each vicious act must have pushed the man deeper into madness until eventually the lust for power and vengeance was all that drove him. The might of the primals carries with it a burden of responsibility and a measure of danger. I hope never to see you corrupted by the potent energies you wield, Strife. It is time we return to Epicola Falls. The Dark Summoner is no more. To Britannia! Oh, how I would love to declare our troubles at an end, but I fear the Ascian with whom Tristan made his bargain is yet afoot. These so-called paragons prey upon men and women who are at their weakest, speaking honeyed words to lead them down the road to destruction. In this manner, they seek to plunge the realm of Eorzea into chaos. It is reassuring to know that heroes like you exist to foil their never-ending schemes and foul plots. An outright war against the Ascians looms closer day by day. Thus would I have you armor yourself with this last piece of the Invoker's attire. It was discovered at the same dig site whence Tristan seized the Soul Crystal, and the St. Quinox Find researchers, grateful for your actions in bringing the murderous summoner to justice, insisted that you complete your set. One can never be over-prepared when heading into battle against a Paragon. Wear it proudly, Strife. Speaking of preparations, were you aware of the deeper layer of power hidden within your avatars? A technique exists that allows you to tap into the full potential of your Eggy. You must have seen Tristan employing this ability. During the final battle with the Dark Summoner, you would have heard a whisper emanating from the Soul Crystal. Still your mind now, Strife, and you will hear the voices of the ancient summoners instructing you in their greatest achievement. The true power of the Eggy will be yours. Alright, and that completes Summoner. Winning. In the Arcanist Guild. I wanted to check on you earlier, but the fairy tale comes true. Alright, we'll take a look at that in a minute, but alright, so yeah, I'm gonna end stream here for this one, just so this way Arcanist and Summoner are in their own thing, and then I'll probably start back up here in like 15 or so minutes with a second episode to cover Scholar, so this one's just rounded out, so we'll see you here in a little bit, guys.